Hi guys, thank you for joining. We're going to get started with how to get more website traffic. Is paid search right for your business? Just a little housekeeping before we get started. I'm Heather Harmon. I'd like to go over a few items so you know how to participate in today's event, which we encourage. I've taken a screenshot for an example of the attendee interface. You guys should all see something like this on your own desktop in the upper right-hand corner. If you're listening in using your computer speaker systems, that's the default. If you prefer to join over the phone just to hear better, select telephone in the audio pane, and the dial-in information will be displayed. You'll have the opportunity to submit text questions to today's presenter, Dan, by typing your questions into that questions panel in the control panel. We will collect all the questions and address them during the Q&A session at the end of today's presentation, but if you have questions as we go along, go ahead and type those in. Now that you're really comfortable with knowing how to work this, I would love for everyone to start typing in that questions pane where they're dialing in from, so that we can get an idea of who we're talking to today, where you're from, and you get the opportunity to use that questions panel. All right, I'm going to introduce Dan Sorenson, our Senior Acquisition Manager at Manta. Dan has years of experience working with brands and companies online to grow their customer base, from Fortune 500 companies to independently operated small businesses. He has been successful in using paid search, email, and social to affordably bring customers to businesses. Thanks for joining us, Dan.
I'm really happy to be here, Heather. Thanks for that introduction. So I'm here to kind of talk about how do we get more website traffic, and we're going to focus on Google AdWords, really paid search, and what we can do with that. As Heather said, I manage the paid search and acquisition for Manta here, but I've worked with numerous businesses at all scales and seen a lot of success from this tool. So I'd love to share it with you all and kind of give you a breakdown of what I look at, and then we can answer your questions at the end. So what is Google AdWords? These are some of the things we're going to go over. Will it work for my business? Let's say you already have a lot of organic traffic. How much or clicks? Do I need a website to use Google AdWords? And really, how do I get started? And then at the end, as Heather said, we'll go through a Q&A. So what is Google AdWords? Google AdWords is access to premium placement on Google based on things people are searching for. We, I'm assuming, have all used Google to look for something or other at one point in time. And Google AdWords is your ability to place an advertisement at the top of those search engine rankings. So we have SEO, where you're going to organically rank your site, and based on what's on your site, what people are typing in, and how that matches. Well, Google AdWords is your ability to just access the top of Google, or different positions at the top of Google based on what people search for. So this can be things that relate to your business or your services. This could be your business name. Let's say you always want to show at the top of Google when somebody searches for your business name, or they search for your competitor's business name, which is actually a really great strategy for AdWords, or just your general business services. So let's just take an example for general business services. We'll assume you own a garage repair and service company. Somebody searches for fix my broken garage door. If you own a garage service and repair company, you definitely want to be in front of this person. Using Google AdWords, you can show your ad at the top of that search query, the search results page. So you're going to put maybe an offer, maybe how fast you can fix a garage door, your contact number, maybe reviews about your business, so people can know that you're a credible business, and that's really going to drive them to call you or contact you. But the real great advantage about AdWords is that you can decide what searches do I want to show up for. Maybe somebody is just looking for types of garage doors, and you don't really want to be in front of that customer. They're not going to visit your site and call you about a repair just yet. But when they do need a repair and they do search for that garage repair, you absolutely want to be in front of them. So Google AdWords gives you that ability to always be in front of the searches that make sense for your business. What are your customers going to look for, and be in front of them to gain that customer. Now, a common question that comes up is, will it work for my business? And the short answer is yes. You could essentially use Google AdWords for any business because of the nature of using Google to search for things that you're looking for. Any business has an opportunity to utilize Google AdWords in order to drive more business. The real difference in the opportunity to use Google AdWords lies in really how often people are searching for what your business offers. Some common searches like pizza delivery or oil change or where can I get my hair cut, they're occurring really often, and that provides a lot of opportunity to find customers. Now, let's say your business offers a really niche service, and people might search for that a lot less. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't utilize Google AdWords. It just might mean that there's a little bit less opportunity for that niche business if people aren't really aware of it yet. Now, there's ways to kind of get around that, but that's essentially kind of the size of the opportunity within AdWords. Do you offer something that people already know about? Do you offer, is this something that people are going to be searching for more and more? Can you get repeat business? Do you always need to be in front of your existing customers to make sure they come back to you and they don't go to your competitors? Or do you need to be in front of, I'm in the review phase and I'm just looking for types of garage doors, but I do offer garage doors, so I want to be in front of that person. These are all kind of the things we take into account when looking at the size opportunity for a business. The other side of this is really location. Location is probably the biggest role in Google AdWords. If you're located in a small town and you only offer local services, your opportunity in Google AdWords is going to be less than if you live in a large city or you offer services nationally. But that's the beauty in Google AdWords, because the flexibility to tailor your AdWords campaign to fit your specific business needs. Now, probably the most common question that comes up of businesses that already have a website and they're getting leads from their website, or they're getting sales from their website, and they're not paying for traffic yet. And they're going to say, why would I pay for traffic? I already get plenty of traffic organically. Why would I go buy more traffic? I just don't see the need for it. And it's a pretty good point. I mean, if you get a lot of traffic already, your organic rankings are high, and you're getting that business coming in, then that's great. Like, you're already ahead of the game in terms of using your website and your online presence to grow more business. Really, let's take an example, because the beauty in AdWords, even if you already have a lot of website traffic, is where can I get more traffic? Let's say you're a home remodeling company. Assume this business is kind of well established in a decent sized city. There's quite a few neighborhoods around. People find you on Google because they see your company name around, or you get referrals because people are using your remodeling service, and then they're talking to their friends about, hey, I just had my kitchen remodeled. Like, it looks great. This is the company I used. Or you put your sign in front of that yard. That's great. That can be a lot of traffic. But what you might want to do is grow in other neighborhoods. If you're only on one side of town, you have a really good customer base in this one neighborhood. You do a lot of work there, but your real interest is, how do I get to these other neighborhoods? How do I pick up more customers that don't already know me or aren't in the neighborhoods where they're seeing my signs or talking to their friends? And this is where you can use AdWords to target the location. And this goes back to, like, what's a real opportunity in these locations? If they're very small, or there's not a lot of homes in the location, then it might not work well for a home remodeling company. But if you're like, I want this neighborhood, like, it's my customer base, like, there's so much opportunity in these homes. You might want to just place a pin over that neighborhood and have your AdWords campaign set up so when people are looking for home remodeling or kitchen remodeling or bathroom renovation or a bathroom makeover or a shower replacement, there's lots of things that you could really offer. But when somebody's looking for those things, you really want to show your advertisement so they're going to find your business. And if you already do a lot of business and people don't know you yet, but you can advertise in another neighborhood around you, you have a lot of credibility, you have good reviews. That's a real opportunity to grow your business in locations that you might not be in. And that's a specific scenario that's come up with a few people that I've talked to who have these businesses where they're like, I get a good amount of web traffic. And I'm like, but like, are there neighborhoods that you want to grow your business in? Like, where are your customers that you haven't reached yet? And then they think about that. Well, yeah, I'd love to grow more business in this neighborhood. I was thinking about putting out flyers on all the doors or on all the mailboxes, and that's okay. That's like one way to do it. But in the day and age of digital, we should take advantage of how can we reach customers at the point that they're actually looking for you. And that's what we're going to get out of AdWords. Now, one thing to think about, and it's another great reason to use AdWords, and I touched on it just briefly on the last slide, is protecting your brand name. And this is a really common tactic in AdWords. We use it here at Manta, but we bid on our own brand name. And a lot of people will say, why, like I already showed at the top of Google, like why would I spend money on people clicking on my business name if they already looked for me? Which is a valid point. Why would you do that? And the reason is that you can pick the message that you want to put on the search engine when somebody types in your business name. If you have to rely on the organic ranking of your business in Google when somebody looks for you, you don't have complete control over what that message is going to say. It's obviously pulling from your website information. You've set up your sitemap and the site links of your organic listing to show that information that you know is relevant towards the basis of your business. But what if you have an offer? What if you have a promotion? What if you want to let people know that now you offer free shipping? Bidding on your own brand name gives you the opportunity to, one, control the message that you show when somebody looks for you, which comes into play a lot if you have offers or things change with your business, or you want to get a message across that's new. Maybe it's seasonal. The other side of that is sending people to a place that is going to give them what they're looking for. If somebody types in their brand name or your brand name, you can show your specific message, but what happens after that? You don't just want them to go to any page on your website. You might want them to go somewhere specifically. That's the other side of AdWords, is one, showing the message that you want to get across, but the other is actually, where do I want these people to go? If I have a specific page that will collect your information, this is the service I offer, this is why I offer it, that's why you clicked on the ad. Then where do you go? You go to a page where you can easily see the same message and input your information. So you have the ability to really control the what's really going on with those customers looking, what they're clicking on, and where they're going. Now, a big thing that comes up with people who aren't as familiar with AdWords is how much will I pay per click? Honestly, in AdWords, every click costs money. So why do different clicks cost different amounts of money? And what is behind this? Like why is it not always the same for everyone? How come it's just not $1 per click? And the reason is that every AdWords search is going to return ads to show at the top, and all of those advertisers that are showing those ads, they're all placing a bid in an auction to show an ad for that search. So if you're looking for home remodeling and you're in a large city and a lot of people are offering, they all have home remodeling businesses, there's like 20 of them, and they're all spending money to show an ad when somebody searches, I'm looking for a home remodeler, that is going to drive up the cost of that click. It's a real-time auction. It's actually kind of incredible if you ever look at a search when you type it in, and it tells you how fast those search results come back, but then how many also come back. And AdWords works the same. It's what's the ad, how relevant is this ad to what somebody searched for, what is the experience on site historically, and how many other people are bidding on this. So the competition, like if a lot of people are going to bid on the same thing, then it's going to drive the cost up to show an ad in that placement. And so it's really a fluid market. Clicks cost different amounts based on the device, the location, the search, the time, and that's day of the week and hour of the day. This all goes into really what's behind the costs per click, which is actually why AdWords, while it's like a huge advantage to use to grow your business, you really do need someone who is experienced in managing it or setting it up to use this, because sometimes it might not make sense to pay the most amount of money for that click just so you can show up at the top of the page. Because of what you're showing ads on what people are searching for, usually end up in you gaining a lead or a sale. Sure that everyone can still hear me. It looks like I might have got lost on the audio for a second. Somebody give me a chat and let me know that I'm still okay. You can hear me now. Okay, great. Okay, thank you. So just to preface, talking about the cost per click, it's always different on devices, time, location, search phrases, and it's an online auction at all times. So if you have a lot of people bidding against you for, let's say, that home remodeling search, then the cost of those clicks is going to go up. It's a more competitive auction. You have to pay more to place an ad in that auction, and generally, if you're bidding on the right terms, then those people will turn into customers or leads, is usually how a lot of businesses will look at this. Sounds like we're back online, so we'll just keep going from here. But basically, because of this fluid market, it really works better if you have somebody who's familiar with running AdWords and setting it up. Really, what's the strategy? Do I bid on my own name? Do I bid on my customers' names? Do I bid on my general business services and product offerings? And having somebody who's very familiar with this and who has done it a lot will make AdWords give you a better return on your investment. And I always talk about AdWords not in terms of, this is an expense for my company every month. This is really how much am I going to invest to grow my customer base. If clicks have a certain cost, but enough clicks turn into customers, then what am I going to get out of that customer sale that's going to return on that investment I paid to get them to me? And with Manta, we have a whole team of marketing pros here who we are AdWords certified across all our marketing pros. We're managing a lot of Google AdWords campaigns for businesses, small and large, every day. So if you're wondering, a lot of these questions I'm seeing coming up right now, we'll answer a lot of these in the Q&A. But we also have a whole team of marketing pros that's here to answer questions and talk to you about what's going to be best for your business. We have certain strategies that we've developed, easier ways to get in and really a lower cost per month. It's a really easy entry. So we'll answer some of these questions when we get to the Q&A, but keep in mind that we're going to give you a number to talk to our marketing pros at the end of this, and they're great people to talk to also who can kind of take your scenario as is and talk you through that. Comes up a lot because, one, not everyone has a website, but two, everybody has a Facebook page or they have some place of their business information online, like any of the local listing sites. I think I just got cut out. I'm back. So not everyone has a website. A website's a really good resource for customers to find your business when they know your business, and it has all your information, how long you've been in business, how customers can contact you. But it's not always essential to have a website for Google AdWords. There's a lot of advantages to having a website. You can measure a lot more if you have the website, so you can put tracking on it and see, am I getting calls and whatnot. But that being said, a lot of businesses actually are using their Manta profiles to send Google traffic to. And there's a good reason for this. One is that they might not have a website, traffic to that people will first see your phone number so they can call you, which most businesses will take a phone call over a lead any day. So it's a really easy way to use your profile if you don't have a website yet. And a website might just be another thing that you have to manage. So we actually do use Manta profiles to send traffic to when people don't have websites, or they don't have a website that has as much of a strong message as their Manta profile. So these are all scenarios that they kind of depend on the business, and these really are case-by-case scenarios. So that's why I'm going to end up plugging our Manta Marketing Pros a lot, but they're such a good resource to just talk to and reach out to. And they can talk to all of you about a lot of these questions. It sounds like audio is cutting in and out a little bit, so please keep sending us your questions, and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can through the Q&A. But we will be sending this recording out after, and we'll give you a way to contact the Marketing Pros if you want to reach out to them as well. Now, we talked a lot about AdWords. Really, what are the benefits? How do I use it? How much are clicks? There's different strategies. Am I going to bid on my business services? Where do I bid in terms of locations? And do I need a website? And like, how do I get started? Right? It's kind of a lot that we're going through in terms of the details of AdWords, which is what we meant to do with this webinar. But how do I get started is really the biggest question, and getting started is really simple. Our marketing pros, like I said, you can call them right now. There's a link. You can fill out a form. They can call you back if that's easier for you right now. But they are available on call. They can walk you through a personalized plan of how Google AdWords can work for your business. That'll be really an estimate of what are the costs per click business, and anyone can really set up and manage an AdWords campaign. So you're free to do this on your own. You can go to Google, you can go to adwords.google.com, you can create an account, you can set up campaigns through AdWords, and you can look at like, oh, I want to target these locations, or I want to set up these campaigns, or I only want to run on mobile, or I just want to set up mobile ads. But really having the experience and knowledge in setting up an AdWords campaign is sometimes it's overwhelming, and it works a lot better if you have somebody who's really familiar with it. So we're happy to walk you through this. That's at no cost. I mean, I don't want this to sound like a sales pitch, but there's no cost in just talking to marketing pros and getting an idea of like how this works and utilizing resources on Manta.com. We can talk about different strategies. There is the one thing that I will say is our AdWords product that we have on site. You can go through Manta.com, claim your profile if you haven't already done that, and then one thing is going to give you your business information on Manta, which gets millions of views every month. But once you go through and claim your business, you'll see that we have a pre-built AdWords offering. We call it Name Lock. It's just bidding on your own brand name. This is one of the strategies we talked about throughout this webinar. For anyone that missed, bidding on your own brand name is one way to always be sure that you have, one, a relevant message at the top of AdWords searches for your business name, and that you do always show up when somebody searches for your name. The third thing about this is that because bidding on a brand name or a competitor's brand name is a really good tactic within AdWords, you might find that companies are already bidding on your brand name now. And that's something that we see. I've seen it with almost every business that I've ran AdWords for. But bidding on your own brand name really protects your brand presence. If somebody else is going to bid on your brand name and try to pick up your customers, then this is a way to make sure that you always show at the top, they always see your message, and they don't really go with your competitor because you're having that brand awareness. This is a really easy entry to get started into AdWords. Again, you'll be able to work with a marketing pro and figure out, do you go further into AdWords? Do you start to bid on general terms about your business services? What's the best way to target locations? Or what location should I target? And kind of have a strategy, but this is really an easy way to get into AdWords and start at least bidding on your brand name so you do show up when people look for your business. That is a great strategy to get started. We utilize it at Manta. Oh, and by bidding on brand name, apologize, I mean your company name. Whatever your company is, this would be what you would bid on, and that gives you the ability to show an ad at the top of Google. If you're not already showing at the top of the Google for your own company name, this would give you the way to make sure that you do show at the top of Google. Let me see, we're getting a couple questions, so apologize, I'm just reading through those. But if you haven't already, claim your premium membership, or sorry, your Manta profile, so at least on Manta, you'll get access to all of our content. If you're interested in talking about AdWords, you can give us a call now at 866-320-5776. These are our marketing pros are available at this number, so if you call them, you can talk to them about AdWords specifically. Like I said, we have that product available for bidding on your company name, which is a pretty low-cost entry into advertising on AdWords, and it's targeted towards your location as well as your business name. So that's an easy way to get started and then grow from there. That's really what I would recommend doing for a lot of people. If you're not already using Google AdWords, then our premium membership plus AdWords is a very easy way to get started in managing your online presence and showing on Google at the top of Google when people look for your business. Otherwise, you can visit that link and fill out a form, and we'll call you back. So we're going to move to Q&A. I'm seeing a ton of questions come up. I'm going to let Heather take it from here.
Next time, we're going to start with answering questions submitted during today's presentation. We've gotten some really good ones. You can still submit questions through the questions pane, attendee control panel. All right, so Dan, our first question comes from Tyler. Okay, so Tyler is asking, is AdWords location specific? Can an ad for a business in Idaho show up on Google search for a customer on the East Coast? Now, Tyler, I'm not sure if this is what you want, if you're an online business or have a large location, but either way, Dan's going to answer that for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyler, that's a great question. I think we've seen this come up a couple of times in the questions and comments that we're seeing now. It is location specific, and you have complete control over location, all the way from which country do I want to advertise in, or which state, or which city, or which zip code, or you can actually within AdWords just drop a pin. And this is what I was referring to earlier, talking about the home remodeling example. Maybe you want to grow your business not from coast to coast, but maybe you just want to grow your business in another neighborhood in your city. You can choose to drop a pin, and this allows you to control your budget. One, that I just want to grow customers in this area. Let's say you're in Idaho, but you do want customers on the East Coast. That could be a scenario. So you can just target the East Coast, and you can not target Idaho. This will give the ability. You can show different ad messages based on those locations. This is a common strategy. What should I say to somebody who lives in New York, or what should I say to somebody who lives in Florida? Maybe I want to talk about Florida businesses, and so I put Florida in my ad copy, which targeting the location in an ad copy is a great strategy if you're not already doing it and you're running a local campaign. Absolutely use location in ad copy. People will click on that. Hopefully you're bidding on the right terms so they become customers, but location is very specific in AdWords. You have complete control over it.
Okay, our next question comes from Melody, and Melody asks, does Google AdWords work for online businesses?
Melody, it absolutely does. It works really for any business. A lot of businesses that are online or offline use AdWords equally. It's really just a way to get your message in front of customers, but we're really relying, with Google AdWords, we're really relying on what are people typing in, and what do I know about what they're typing in that is going to warrant me wanting to pay for them to click to come to my website, or whatever page I'm going to send them to. So it works for online businesses, it works for offline businesses, it works for B2B businesses, it works for B2C businesses. It's very, very customizable.
All right, next question comes from Andrew. What is the minimum you would recommend monthly in investing for a small local business?
Andrew, great question. This comes up a lot. I like how you phrase it as investing, because we really have to think about AdWords in terms of, I want to invest to grow my business. I want to find new customers. That being said, the investment is going to be partly based around what is the available traffic in your area for the terms that you would be bidding on. This has a lot to do with the density of the population. Are there a lot of people in the area that you want to advertise? That's really going to set your cost initially. Is, can I really advertise that much on Google in my location? And then what terms am I going to be advertising on? Because as we said, different terms have different cost per clicks based on how competitive it is. One has to do with the location. Two just has to do with what business services are these. Insurance is probably it's one of the top cost per click keywords. So even if you're going to advertise insurance locally, it might cost more than other services. I would really start small with Google AdWords. If you're in New York City and there's a couple million people close to you, you can spend tens of thousands of dollars a day. It's really, the sky is the limit. I would start small, maybe $50 a month or $100 a month, and seeing what happens when people click on these ads and they go to my site. Are they taking the actions that I want them to take? Are they calling me? Are they giving me their information? Are they signing up for my email? I would start there. If it makes sense with your business to spend a couple $100, that's a good place to start. If you already know that people who come to your site are taking actions and you have a way to contact them or a way for them to purchase on site, then it might be worth saying, I'm going to invest a larger amount of money. But I think on this webinar, a lot of people are newer to AdWords, and I would always start with a smaller budget, which is kind of how our marketing pros will talk through this as well if you contact them. They're a good resource for, this is my specific business, and we can provide you estimates for the available traffic and how many clicks you can get with that traffic. That's going to set a recommended monthly investment. Again, that's going to depend on the business and the location. So it's tough to say, like, I would recommend spending $10 a day, or I would recommend spending $1,000 a month. It's easier to say what is the opportunity and get an idea of what's out there. Like, if I want to advertise on Google, like, what can I expect to get back? And that's what just contacting our marketing pros, they can tell you that and give you an idea of what's available, and that's the best place to start.
Great answer, Dan. We've got another question from Adriana, and she asks about her ROI. What's a good ROI for this?
Ooh, positive. A positive ROI. That's a really good question, and this this is really kind of a complicated question, actually. And I say positive, and I'm kind of chuckling as I say that, but it's true. It might depend really how well are you or your website, how well can you convert customers who come to your site? Is there a place to fill out a form? Is there a phone number to call? And how often, based on people clicking, are they taking these actions that will cause them to call you or buy something online or fill out a lead form? And that's really going to that's how you're going to initially figure out your ROIs. What am I going to spend, and then how often, when people click, are they taking an action to become a customer? And sometimes this gets more complicated because it can be, in certain industries, very expensive to advertise on Google. And sometimes you have to look at, well, once I get a customer, they usually stay with me for a while. Or once let's say I'm a pizza delivery service. I have really good pizza. People love it. Once they find me, they never eat another pizza. But when you say that, you have an idea of, well, they usually buy this many times, like a month or every few months. And so maybe it's not profitable for me to acquire a new customer the first time. Maybe it takes 10 clicks, and clicks are $10, and I get one person out of that, and a pizza only cost $15, but I just paid $100 to get that customer. And that might appear like it's a poor ROI initially, but a lot of the times it takes, well, once I get a customer, I only paid to get them once. And then every time after that, they call me, or they come directly to my website, or they open my emails. And so they end up buying 10 times on average every year after that for however many years they live in that location. So it might be that it might be that acquiring a customer doesn't appear profitable firsthand, but if you acquire a new customer and then they shop with you frequently, and your revenue from that adds up, and it becomes very profitable down the line after that customer acquisition. And this ranges on businesses. Sometimes you are a one and done, and then it's extremely important that somebody who knows how to manage AdWords runs your campaigns, because there are ways to make almost every campaign profitable.
All right, so thank you everyone for sticking with us. A lot of you have stayed to do Q&A. Our next question comes from Tom. Tom asks, can you use phrases and or multiple words that all have to be in the search to qualify for an AdWord?
Tom, I love this question. You bring up a really good point in AdWords. So we're talking about bidding on keywords, and the example I keep going back to is home remodeling. And let's say I'm a home remodeling service and I would want to show up when somebody searches home remodeling. And then let's say somebody searches, I want to hire a home remodeler. And that doesn't happen very frequently. But when they do type that in, like, I know that I want to be in front of them because they're looking for me. I just have to match. I just have to be in front of them when they're looking for me. But you can't always rely on people typing in the same things. And this is where we get into keyword match types. And within Google, there are 3 match types. Well, technically there's 4 match types. There's broad, there's phrase, and there's exact. And a broad match type means that if I say I want to advertise on home remodeling and it's broad, it can match. It's going to match, like we're playing Go Fish. It's going to match a search query that could be related to home remodeling. Somebody might have typed in kitchen remodeling. Somebody might have typed in lawn remodeling. But because I have this broad match keyword, it's very loosely filtered towards what I will match to in search queries. And it's a good way to figure out what are people looking for and what are people looking for that I'm really not sure yet, but I will add that once I figure it out, once they're typing in home remodelers near me. Maybe I didn't have that as a keyword first, and then I see that they're typing that in through a search terms report that's available in AdWords. and our marketing pros can kind of go into the details of that. But maybe I'll see that a lot of these searches that I didn't initially advertise on are coming up a lot, and then I'll add them in, and I'll say, well, I want this to be a phrase match. Phrase match is a little bit more tightly filtered than a broad match. Broad match can be related to one of the keywords has to be included, but maybe not the other ones, or maybe it's something that's just closely related and one of those words comes into play. Phrase match says if I bid on home remodeling, that home remodeling has to occur as is, but anything before or after home remodeling can also occur. So this gives me the ability to really go fish for search queries. What are people typing in that I know I want to show for home remodeling? Are people typing in home remodeling near me, around me, find a home remodeler, find home remodeling? I mean, 70% of searches are new searches, so these match types give you the ability to figure out what's working. And then there's the exact match, which is to say I'm always going to show an ad when somebody types in exactly home remodeler near me. I know when they type that in that I have this perfect ad, and they always click on it and they always become a customer. And you have the ability to control that. You know that that occurred exactly, nothing else occurred outside of it. And that's like your winners. You know, when people type those in, I want to show an ad, and they're usually highly profitable terms. Now, I said there was 4 technically match types, because the one we didn't cover was the broad match modified. And this is the caveat to broad match. Remember, broad match was that loosely filtered search phrase. Something could be similar to, it doesn't have to occur in the exact order of the words. Other words could occur also. Broad match modified is that, except it says whatever terms you include in that keyword, home remodeler near me, those have to occur. But they don't necessarily have to occur in that same order. Or other terms might occur in between some of those words or after those words. So this is really when you set up a campaign and you'll look at like what are the match types that I'm using, and you bid differently on the match types because they are either loosely filtered or tightly filtered. You know you want to show, or you want to go fishing. You don't want to spend quite as much per click, so you're going to figure out some stuff along the way and then turn those into exact match terms. This is an optimization strategy. And there's a lot of detail around that. So I won't really go into too detail, but it is something you can do. You can control the filters on keywords and really how those occur and how tightly filtered you get.
We are still getting new questions in, so thank you guys. And I did want to call your attention to the handouts section in that control panel on the right. We do have a white paper that goes into some details. It's complementary to what we've been talking about today, if you'd like to download that and learn more. So our next question comes from Val. Val asks, Google AdWords are becoming increasingly tricky as far as setting up an ad and getting it accepted. Can you explain how to increase our chances of success?
Val, this is a good question. It's a little bit general, though, so I'm going to kind of make some assumptions here to what you're asking. So increasing your chances of success. This relates a lot to what we just talked about with keyword match types. It also has to do with, and I'm a little bit guessing on this getting accepted part, and that might be the ad copy you're referring to, or there's a couple of reasons. Like when you say accepted, I'm thinking like the opposite of like, well, why would I get unaccepted? And disapprovals in your ads, and this can do with either whatever website you're sending people to is broken, or it doesn't abide by AdWords policies. Typically, you can't advertise on things like guns or alcohol or some of these really things that we would want to filter out. Yeah, like some R-rated stuff. Like not able to advertise on that through Google AdWords. There's some limitations there. Probably for good reasons. I haven't advertised on those things before, so it hasn't been an issue. But the other things are your ad copy. You can't have too many punctuations or too many. You can't capitalize words completely. Sometimes you want to yell at people that something's free, with all capital letters, but that's not okay. You can't use multiple exclamation points. But there's a whole guide on AdWords as far as like your ad copying guidelines and disapproval reasons. It's kind of common, but it's usually something you just work through. Our marketing pros are familiar with AdWords and what's acceptable. So if you have questions, that might be somebody to reach out to as well, just to get some more detail into your specific situation.
Okay, so we've got another question from Jim. Jim asks, should an AdWords campaign have a small amount of good keywords or as many as possible?
So, Jim, this is a good question. I kind of lean on both sides, and I'll say that because I have a ton of keywords. I mean, I think in my account right now, I'm looking at like 60 or 70,000 keywords, which is, right, this seems crazy. Like, how do you have that many words that relate to even one business service? But that's where we get into these match types. So if every keyword has 4 match types, then instantly, if you had 20 words, you already have 80 keywords. Now, what you're typically going to find is that the 80-20 rule, right, where 20% of your keywords drive 80% of your business, and 80% of your keywords really don't do a whole lot. That's typically where your match type filters come in, because you're going to figure out stuff that works really well. You're going to really figure out that 20% through optimizations, and those are going to be the drivers of a lot of, one, what you're going to spend dollars on, because typically keywords that convert really well are more expensive because everyone has figured this out, right? Everyone's like, hey, man, when somebody types in, like, can I get a pizza delivered in 20 minutes? Like, if I show an ad for that, like, I'm going to sell a pizza. So you might not be the only person advertising that knows what these words are, but through your match types, you'll figure out what works really well. You'll segment your campaign. You'll really target those keywords specifically, but you'll still want to learn. You'll still want to be open to customers in different purchase phases. Are they just reviewing? Are they, considering? Do they know my brand name? And you'll want to drive in some interest through those. So I would say a lot of your keywords aren't going to drive a lot of the business, and some of your keywords are going to drive a lot of the business. That just takes the optimization.
Okay, our next question comes from William. How does Google AdWords compare to social media ads, such as Facebook ads? Does Manta offer support across the spectrum?
Ooh, William, I'm a big fan of Facebook ads. I find that they work really well. It's a similar situation of the setup and the optimization makes a huge difference. Personally, at Manta, we're offering an AdWords product, and we can offer AdWords campaigns. We have a really great product that lets you bid on your own company name. That's extremely easy to get into. For everyone who's listening who's not into AdWords yet, that's like the go-to. Like, get your Manta Premium membership and sign up for AdWords. Do that, low fixed cost, start to get some traffic on your own brand name. That works really well. But I find that social media ads have worked well compared to AdWords even. It's a completely different situation, actually. You advertise to who the people are, not what they're telling you they're looking for. So it flips the script a little bit on how we show advertisements, and that's sometimes hard to conceptualize. But I've seen good performance through both. So if you're wondering, if you're already running an AdWords campaign and you're wondering, can I get something out of Facebook ads? You can definitely get something out of Facebook ads. We have a lot of information on it available, I believe, through our articles on our site, but it's not a service we currently offer. We're really focused on it, the AdWords product currently.
Okay, we've got a really interesting question from Jesse. Jesse asks, is there a hierarchy with Google bots when it comes to .com, .net, .us, .jewelry, for example, or is it mostly the words in the name if chosen properly?
Jesse, I think there used to be a lot around SEO and domain names, and really offering a benefit to domain names that matched really what that customer was looking for. That's been devalued as far as I know in the SEO space. The AdWords side, there's not like a preference towards domain. It really comes down to the keywords and the ad copy and how that matches what somebody's going to look for. And then what happens historically when people go to your site. If you advertise on something that's not related to your business and they go to your site and they never do anything, then Google's main objective is to have the best experience in search. And so it's going to be hard to place ads, and you're going to probably have to pay a lot more to place ads on things that don't relate to your business. So I don't know if there's a preference for domains anymore. I don't think that's the case. I think that was devalued quite a while ago, but definitely matching the experience is going to turn out best for your ROI as well as what you're going to pay for clicks.
Okay, great. We're really rolling through these. We have about 10 minutes left. Cindy asks, is there a way to know what others are paying for AdWords so you know how to determine what you'll pay?
Cindy, I like that question. It's part of a review phase of like setting up an AdWords campaign, and before you run a campaign, there's not really a way. There's softwares that will look and they'll tell you like, well, these people are bidding on these terms, and there's some truth to that. There's a little bit of data aggregation, so you got to take them with a grain of salt. But once you actually do run some traffic through an AdWords campaign, you can see like how much you're paying for a click and what position are you showing up on the search engine results page, and then you can see how much of the available traffic for those search terms are you showing ads for. And you can look at this in a comparison to other domains that are advertising on the same terms, or keywords, I mean. So it's called the Search Terms Report, and it's in Google, and you can look at it by individual keywords or groups of keywords, and you can see, well, how often do I show up at the top of the page, or how often am I outranking the other domains, or how is my impression share as it compares to the other people advertising on these same keywords. And that's really a competitive advantage, if you ask me, in being able to see that. You're not really able to tell exactly what they're paying for clicks. Google will tell you what you can expect to pay for clicks for any terms in any location, and that's something you can do within Google just by setting up a Google AdWords account. Our marketing pros can walk you through that too. We do that for people all the time. But you'll get an idea like how much it's going to cost for clicks and the volume of clicks. And then once you actually run a campaign, you can get the details of, well, these domains are bidding at the same time. They're showing up above me this percentage of the time. They're really targeting this percentage of the available traffic, and I'm targeting this percentage of the available traffic. And it gives you, if nothing else, it gives you an idea of like who else is playing in your space. And then you can go investigate. Well, what are they advertising? Well, what happens when I go to their site? Well, should I do something like they're doing, or like I'm really doing well, so like I'm not really going to worry about it.
Okay, we've got a really interesting question from Jim. Is there anything to learn from or changes to Google Ads based on clicks to views ratio? So we're asking about the clicks to views ratio.
Jim, I'm gonna assume it's a views. You mean impressions? If you get a lot of impressions, but your clicks are low, you would have a really low click-through rate. And part of this, so your other part of the question is like any real value ROI of views. So if you're showing a lot of ads for something you're advertising on and not a lot of people are clicking on it, one, it means you need to change your ads. Like if you're not getting, a 2% is kind of like standard. Can I get 2% click-through rate? The amount of clicks divided into the number of impressions. One is like if nobody's clicking on your ad, you're getting a 0.5% click-through rate, then you probably need to, one, change your ads, or two, just advertise on different things. But this does actually play a large part into ROI. So if you have a really low click-through rate, you're kind of like forcing yourself into these auctions. It would seem like people don't really want what you're offering based on what they're typing in, and Google is going to devalue this in what they call a quality score, and that's looking at how relevant is your ad copy to what somebody's searching for and your landing page experience. There's, it's kind of a black box. But part of that is very legitimate, and the click-through rate does associate to your quality score, and higher quality scores pay less to show ads in auctions or be clicked on. So it really does affect ROI. If you can get a better click-through rate, you're going to be benefited with a lower cost per click from Google, and you're going to show in a better position. And if you're driving traffic through that model versus a low click-through rate and paying a lot for clicks, if you're getting the same conversion rate of customers from those clicks, then you'd want to pay less for those clicks. That's going to be better for your ROI. So that's really how that scenario works.
Okay, we've got a question from Eric. What are the main differences between Google AdWords and Google Display Network?
This is a really good question. So AdWords is, we're going to show ads based on what is somebody typing into Google. You search something on Google, you get a whole list of results. And Google AdWords is, I'm going to show an ad in those results, maybe at the top of the results or the second spot down from those results. And Google Display Network it's an entire network of websites that Google either owns or owns the ad space on, and it gives you the ability to show image ads or text ads as an image. But this gives you the ability to just put images or text images in front of people, and you kind of decide, like, who do I put them in front of based on, one is devices, two is the location, time, day of the week, all the same AdWords stuff. But then the other side is like, what did they go to my website? This gets into having a website when you use AdWords, but typically, the best Google Display Network strategy is to show ads to people who already went to your site. And I'm pretty sure everyone on here is familiar with what this really looks like, and I always relate to shopping for this pair of shoes, and then this pair of shoes follows me around everywhere. So that's what we can do through Google Display Network. Google AdWords is showing based on what people are searching for.
Okay, so William's got a follow-up question. He's asking, which social media channel do you see as the most profitable? I'm assuming to advertise on.
I'm going to make the same assumption there, Heather. I use Facebook a lot. I love Facebook ads. I might have a personal preference.
Okay. All right, so we've got about two minutes left, so we're going to do 2 quick questions left. Christina asks, how can you ensure with paid ads you can move up in organic search rankings?
Well, they're not really affiliated. One is that your website can show organically to things that people are searching for. That's just Google crawling your site, saying, when you've got a good site, it has this content on it, and that content matches really closely with what these people are searching, so we're going to show you higher. And the paid placement it's not going to help your organic rankings. It's not going to help your rankings. It might help your organic traffic, because people might see you on AdWords, and then they might just go search you directly. That's definitely a scenario. It's not going to help your rankings, but it's going to help more people find your website if they see you on paid search.
Okay, George, it looks like you had a really similar question to that about organic being impacted by paid search. I hope we answered that for you as well. Okay, so our last question, and I think you've answered this in a couple different ways, but let's just get straight to the point. What's a good click-through rate and good quality score?
So click-through rate varies. Like I said before, it ties closely to quality score and what you're going to pay for clicks. So I think a 2% is it's average. If you're not getting 2%, then you should really look at your ad copy and what you're advertising on and what's enticing somebody to click on that ad, or do you need to show in a better position. Advertising on Google isn't just I'm going to show at the top. There are multiple positions on each page, and there's multiple pages of search results. So a low click-through rate could be that you're not bidding enough for people to find you, but they're very common searches, so you're just not getting clicked on, so you might have to pay more, and that will increase click-through rate, or you just aren't advertising on the right terms, and that's affecting your click-through rate because you're not talking about what people are looking for. That's usually the biggest case of that scenario. But quality score is when it's going to be affected by that click-through rate, and two, quality score really dictates how much you're going to pay per click. So if you're going to get a quality score of 5, that's going to be a standard cost per click rate. Like what's the auction, kind of the baseline. And from 5 to 10, you're going to pay a little bit less per click as you climb up to 10. You're going to get some preferential treatment if your quality scores are above 5. So 5 is really your baseline, and you should shoot for as high as you can go. I don't have like a specific like you should shoot for 8. Like you should shoot for 10. You should go and get 10 if you can. And it takes a lot of work sometimes, but you should keep trying because if you're going to keep investing in your business this way, then you always need to be improving, and going for 10 is going to help you pay less for clicks.
All right, well, I think this webinar was a 10 for sure. Thank you so much, everyone, for sticking with us really until the end here. It's past 3, and we've got our Marketing Pros available for anyone that has additional questions. You can call that number. We will be happy to talk to you guys about your specific business. Again, we've got the handouts, and you can look for those. This webinar was recorded. I really appreciate everyone sticking out through our technical difficulties. So we're going to wrap up, and the recording will be sent to you in the next day. So expect that in your inbox, and thank you again.
Thanks, everyone.